So the first core value I'm going to talk about from the APTA is accountability. So as defined by the APTA, active acceptance of the responsibility for the diverse roles, obligations, and actions of the physical therapist and physical therapist assistant, including self-regulation and other behaviors that positively influence patient and client outcomes, the profession, and the health needs of society. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my growth and accountability from start to finish in this clinical, and some of the lessons that I took from it. But very first day, I had an open-ended conversation, very upfront with my CI about the comfort level I had with clinical practice and decision making. I think she could sense the little bit of self-doubt I had in my response, because that whole first week, no hands-on practice. What I was mostly held accountable for was pretty much those tech duties that I had worked a year doing. With observation, you get to do that as well. And then sprinkled in with a little bit of documentation, maybe writing an assessment or a subjective component. But, getting the same hot, cold packs, cleaning, setting up treatment tables, loading, unloading laundry, monitoring therapeutic exercise with patients, a lot of those typical tech duties. But on that first day, additionally, I told her that I like to be pushed. Sometimes I don't know if I'm ready for a challenge, and my lacking of confidence can sometimes get the best of me. And I told her I'd try to be better in that area, with her guiding assistance. And boy, did she take those words and run with it. I was pushed out of the nest fairly quickly. By the midterm time, was consistently treating, 3 to 5 patients per day. By the time that the final week rolled around, I had seen on 2 days up to 10 patients. So within the blink of an eye, I saw the intensity of the increase in roles and obligations, how demanding that can be, with things like not just documenting correctly, but now efficiently in order to be timely. And instead of just setting up the modalities, now I'm utilizing the aids to my assistants, to maintain productivity throughout the busy workday, or not just completing an initial evaluation, but now realizing, those evaluating skills and components as time progresses, it's still engraved in the foundation of providing the best care to patients, is that constant evaluator. By the end of the time here, I reflected on it and I almost felt, dumbfounded to myself as I saw such an increase in demand and responsibility and the diversity in the roles that, I did ask for. But the crazy thing for me is that on top of all of that, like even in my last week, I'd still see my CI cleaning tables, when I was busy transitioning from 1 hour into the next, up to my shoulders in water, or her checking somebody in up front because our PCC needed to go home that afternoon because she wasn't feeling well. It's like she consistently, routinely displayed such a diverse role, responsibility, acceptance. And it felt very full circle as I started to take on my increase in roles and responsibilities. But to see her still do what I was able to do at the beginning, on top of what I am now doing now, with all the responsibilities that come with, treating patients on your own, it allowed me to notice the importance of still accepting the responsibility and completing those smaller tasks, even though as you take on more, she's the clinic director. She doesn't need to be doing that. But, when we go back to the definition of that APTA defines accountability as, if you really want to live out the value to its core meaning defined, by the APTA, you would do what she's doing. She's the perfect representation of this value and does what a true leader should do. And then, leading by example. And she did that even when she thought nobody was watching. And that is accountability right there. She was a great display of it.